Can you imagine saving hundreds of lives and keeping it a secret for half a century? Imagine carrying a truth so enormous that not even your family, not even your wife, knew what you had done. This is the real story of the man who rescued 669 Jewish children from the Nazis and hid it from the world for more than 50 years. His name was Nicholas Winton, a quiet, ordinary man who became a hero the world almost never knew. Our story begins in late 1930. Nicholas Winton, a 29-year-old stockbroker from London, was packing for a simple skiing holiday in Switzerland. He was looking forward to the break, the snow, the quiet. But then, a phone call changed everything. A friend who was working in Prague urged him to change his plans. "Nicky," he said, "cancel the skiing. Come to Prague instead. There's something you need to see." Winton hesitated, but his friend was insistent. So, he agreed. He had no idea he was about to step out of his ordinary life and into a humanitarian crisis that would define his future. When he arrived in Prague, the reality was worse than anything he could have imagined. The city was overflowing with refugees fleeing the Nazis. Families were crowded into freezing warehouses, sleeping on the cold floors of train stations, and huddled together in makeshift camps. They had lost their homes, their jobs, their sense of safety. But what truly shook Winton to his core were the children, hundreds of them. Some were with their desperate parents, others were completely alone. They were lost, terrified, and facing a future that looked impossibly dark. And in that moment, standing amidst the chaos and despair, with no official authority, no special training, and absolutely no plan, Nicholas Winton made a decision that would alter the course of history for hundreds of families. He looked at those children and thought one simple, powerful thought: I must get them out. He immediately returned to London, but his mission had just begun. Winton transformed his own home into a makeshift rescue office. He worked from his dining room table, turning it into the headquarters of an operation that didn't officially exist. His mother, who had German-Jewish roots herself, joined him without hesitation. Together they worked day and night. They filled out endless forms, wrote hundreds of letters, and contacted families all over Britain, pleading with them to foster children they had never even met. The bureaucracy was a nightmare. He fought with government officials who were slow to act. He pleaded with embassies when the official paperwork moved too slowly, and he knew time was running out. He even forged documents. He pushed for visas. He raised money. He begged for trains. He was in a race against time, a race against a war he knew was coming, and against all odds, he succeeded. He organized 9 rescue trains, which would later become known as the Each train that left Prague was a victory. Each train meant dozens more children saved from the clutches of the Nazis. From March to August of 1939, train after train pulled out of the Prague station, carrying its precious cargo. The children were so young they carried tiny cardboard suitcases with their few belongings. They wore labels around their necks with a number and their destination. Some had photographs pinned to their coats so their new foster families in London could recognize them. Imagine those goodbyes on the platform, parents handing over their children to strangers, hoping, praying it was the last time they would see them in danger, and not just the last time they would see them at all. Some children cried. Some put on a brave smile. None of them truly knew what awaited them at the end of the journey. In London, Winton was there to meet each group. He personally welcomed them, matching the children with their British foster families, one by one, ensuring they had a safe place to go. By the end of that summer, he had successfully saved 669 children. A 10th train was planned. It was going to be the largest one yet, carrying around 250 children. It was scheduled to depart from Prague on the 1st of September, 1939. That train never left the station. On that very day, Germany invaded Poland, and the Second World War began. The borders slammed shut. The line to safety was cut. Most of the children who were supposed to be on that final train were never seen again. They were sent to concentration camps with their families. For the rest of his very long life, Nicholas Winton carried the silent sorrow of that last train, the 250 children he couldn't save. After the war ended, Winton went back to his life. He got married, had children, and continued his career, and he said nothing. Not a word about the rescue. There were no interviews, no speeches, no books. He never mentioned what he did in Prague, not even to his wife, Greet, or to his own children. All the evidence, the documents, the photographs, the precious lists of names and addresses of the children he had saved was packed away into an old leather scrapbook and hidden in the attic. It was a secret he kept locked away. 40 years went by, then 50, and the world moved on. And the children he saved grew up, had families of their own, and lived full lives, many never knowing the name of the man who had made it all possible. Then, in 1988, everything changed. His wife Greta was cleaning out the attic and stumbled upon the old scrapbook. She opened it and found the lists of children's names, the photos, the letters. She was stunned. She had no idea. She knew her husband was a good man, but she never knew he was a hero on this scale. The scrapbook eventually found its way to a historian, and then to the BBC. They invited Winton to be in the audience for a popular television program called That's Life. He was in his late 70s. He had no idea what they were planning, He just thought he was there to watch a show. He sat quietly in the audience, unassuming as always. During the broadcast, the host, Esther Ranson, held up his scrapbook for the camera. She told the story of the Prague Kindertransport. Then, she turned to the audience and asked a simple question. Is there anyone in our audience tonight who owes their life to Nicholas Winton? And the woman sitting right beside him stood up. Then another person stood, and another. Within seconds, the entire section of the audience around him was on their feet. These were the children from his trains, now adults in their 50s and 60s. They were the children he had saved. Winton looked around, completely stunned. He slowly turned to the woman next to him, then to the man behind him. And as the reality of the moment washed over him, this quiet, humble man who had hidden his heroism for 50 years, finally broke down and cried. For the first time, he was seeing with his own eyes the true magnitude of what he had done. He wasn't just looking at a list of names in a book. He was surrounded by the lives he had saved. Nicholas Winton was eventually knighted by Queen Elizabeth II for his services to humanity. He lived to the incredible age of 106. Even after his story became famous, he never saw himself as a hero. When people asked him why he did it, his answer was always simple and direct. I just saw what needed to be done. He believed that if something is not impossible, then there must be a way to do it. But the hundreds of families who exist today because of him know the truth. He didn't just save 669 children, he saved their futures. He saved generations not yet born. He saved entire worlds. Some heroes don't wear capes or seek the spotlight. They are ordinary people who, when faced with darkness, simply step forward to light a candle because they know it's the right thing to do. Thank you for watching. If you were moved by this story, please like, share, and subscribe for more incredible stories of hidden heroes.